Adhyay 3, Arjun said, O Janardhan, if you think knowledge superior to action, why do you, O Keshav, ask me to engage in fearsome action? Since your complex words are so confusing to my mind, kindly tell me the one way by which I may attain to the state of blessedness. The Lord said, I told you before, O the sinless, two ways of spiritual discipline, the way of discrimination or knowledge for sages, and the way of selfless actions for men of action. Man neither attains to the final state of actionlessness by desisting from work, nor does he achieve God-like perfection by just renunciation of word. Since all men have doubtlessly sprung from nature, no one cannot at any time live even for a moment without action. That deluded man is a dissembler who apparently restrains his senses by violence too, but whose mind continues to preoccupied with objects of their gratification. And O Arjun, that man is meritorious who restrains his senses with his mind and employs his organs of action to do selfless work in a spirit of complete detachment. You ought to do your prescribed action as enjoined by scriptures, for doing work is better than not doing any, and in the absence of it, even the journey of your body may not complete it. The Lord said, since the conduct of yajna is the only action, and all other business in which people are engaged are only forms of worldly bondage, O son of Kunti, be unattached and do your duty to goodwill. At the beginning of Kal, the course of self-realization, Prajapati Brahma shaped yajna along with mankind and enjoined on them to ascend by yajna which could give them what their hearts aspired to. And may you cherish gods by yajna, and may gods foster you, for this is the means by which you will finally achieve the ultimate state. The gods you foster by yajna will show upon you without asking all the joys you wish for. But the man who avails himself of these joys without having paid for them is truly a thief. The wise who partake of what is left over from yajna are rid of all the evils, but the sinners who cook only for sustenance of their bodies partake of nothing but sin. All beings get their life from food, food grows from rain emerges from yajna, and yajna is an outcome of action. But it's known to you that action arose from the Ved, and the Ved from indestructible Supreme Spirit, so that the all-pervasive, imperishable God is ever present in yajna. The man in this world who, O Parth, who loves sensual pleasure and lead an impious life and does not conduct himself in accordance with the thus prescribed cycle, leads but a futile life. But there remains nothing more to do for the man who rejoices in this self, finds contentment in his self, and feels adequate in his self. Such a man has neither anything to gain from action nor anything to lose from inaction, and he has no interest in any being or any object. So always do what is right for you to do in the spirit of selflessness, for in doing his duty the selfless man attains to God. Since sages such as Janak had also attained to the ultimate realization by action and keeping in mind the preservation of the order, it is incumbent upon you to act. Others emulate the actions of great men and closely follow the example set by him. Although, O Parth, there is no task in all the three worlds which I have to do, and neither is there any worthwhile object which I have not achieved. I am yet engaged in action. So should I not be diligent in the performance of my task, O Parth? Other men will follow my examples in every way. If I do not perform my actions well, the whole world will perish and I shall be the cause of one Sankar, and so a destroyer of mankind. The Lord said, as the ignorant act with a feeling of attachment to their actions, even so, O Bharat, the wise ought to act for the preservation of the established world order, rather than confusing and undermining the faith of the ignorant who are attached to the actions. The wise man should prompt them to dwell in God and act well as he himself does. Although all the actions is caused by properties of nature, the man with an egoistic and deluded mind presumes that he himself is a doer. But the wise man, who is aware of different spheres of the properties of nature in the form of mind and senses as well as of their action upon objects, is not a prey to attachment or the mighty arm, because he knows that the mind and senses dwell upon objects of perception. They ought not to undermine the faith of the deluded who are unaware of the truth, because they are enamored of the constituents of matter and so attached to senses and their functions. So, O Arjun, contemplate the self, surrender all your actions to me, abandon all desires, pity, and grief, and be ready to fight. Unquestioning and devoted men who always act according to the precept of mind are liberated from action. Know the skeptical men who do not act in keeping with this precept of mind, because they are devoid of knowledge and discrimination, are doomed to misery. Since all beings are constrained to act in conformity with their natural disposition, and the wise man also strives accordingly, of what avail can violence be? Do not rule by attachments and aversions, because both of them are the great enemies that obstruct you on the way to God. Although inferior, one's own dharma is the best, and even meeting with death in it brings good, whereas dharma other than one's own, though well observed, generates only fear. Arjun said, what, O Krishna, is that which drives man, forced against his will, as it were, and with reluctance to act impiously? The Lord said, knows the desire arising out of the emotional property of nature, and insatiable as fire in the same as wrath, and learn to recognize it as your most wicked enemy in this world. As fire is enveloped by smoke, a mirror clouded with dust, and fortress hidden by the warmth, even so knowledge is engulfed by desire. And O son of Kunti, even wise men's discrimination is engulfed by desire, insatiable like fire, their perpetual enemy. Since the senses, minds, and intellect as the seats of desire, it is through them that is deluded a being by clouding its faculty of discrimination. So, O the best of Bharat, first subdue the senses and kill determinedly this desire, and harness destroyer of both spiritual and physical knowledge. Above senses there is a mind, and above mind there is the intellect, and the one which lies above all of them is the soul, within supremely powerful and yet subtle. Therefore, O the mighty arm, knowing the soul subtle, and in every respect mighty and meritorious, restrain the mind with your intellect, and kill this desire, your most formidable enemy.